Welcome back to the art room. Mrs. Larrabee here. This week we have a project that is actually an optical illusion. We're going to talk about how to make this 3D appearance on our two-dimensional paper. The only supplies that you'll need this week are your pencil and a blank sheet of paper. I'm using regular copy paper today. Next week we're going to look at some different supplies to add color with, so you don't need those for this week, just pencil and paper. We're going to take our time drawing and really work on getting this optical illusion effect on our paper. Go ahead, gather those supplies if you don't have them. While you're doing that, I want to tell you a little bit about a few artists who are known for optical illusion or op art. The first one is Mr. Julian Stanzak. He actually helped coin the phrase op art in 1964. He had an art show, and in this art show, it was so talked about. It was such a unique idea that he was presenting that when they called it optical illusion art, they started shortening it to op art. And here we have this term from this one artist, which is kind of cool. Even more cool to the story, I think, is that Mr. Stanzak, originally from Poland, spent time there during World War II, was in a labor camp during part of that time, and in this labor camp lost the use of his right arm permanently. Mr. Stanzak eventually makes his way to the United States. He settled in the Ohio area and taught himself to use his left hand for writing and also for painting. And from this man who persevered under some pretty big circumstances, we actually get a whole genre of art. I think that it's just an amazing story. Here's a couple of pieces of artwork by Mr. Sanchez. Well, here's one at least. This piece of artwork is called Continuous Line in Black Detail. He produced this artwork in 2005, which is kind of cool. He was born in the 1920s. He lived until 2017. He was producing art for pretty much his entire adult life, which speaks highly of him. That's a very neat thing. So this was 2005, not all that long ago. All right, here's another artist, Bridget Riley. She's from London. She was born in the 1930s, so kind of close to the same time that Mr. Stanzak was. And she is presently still living in London and still producing some artwork. These are a couple of her pictures, and one of the quotes from her I really like. She said, "As the artist picks their way along, rejecting and accepting as they go, certain patterns of inquiry emerge." Deep concept. But I love the fact that she says that artists reject and accept different parts of their artwork as they go. This idea that we edit as we go, that we might put something in and decide, no, that's not what we need. We're not looking to produce this perfect piece of artwork the first time, every time. We're working towards that. We're making decisions as we go. We're taking chances with it, right? And that's where it starts to emerge. All right, with those things in mind, let's get started on drawing our optical illusion. Here are a couple of examples. As I said, we're just going to stick with our drawing part this week. We're going to be adding the color. We're going to use a few different supplies. You'll have the opportunity to do next week. I'm going to set these over to the side. All we need to start is a blank sheet of paper. We're going to turn our paper vertical, which is up and down, kind of like a door, not like a window, like a door. Vertical is up and down. And that's how we're going to keep our paper for this piece of artwork. I'm going to shift my whole thing just a little to the side. I feel like I write a little neater when my paper shifted to the side a little. A lot of times in handwriting, this is the best way to have it. Not necessarily to have it straight up and down, but shifted to the side. So you might want to do the same. We're going to add 3 wavy lines to our paper from the top to the bottom, vertically. We want our lines to not be exactly the same, but different. And I will tell you that getting started with this is probably the most challenging part mentally for me in this exercise. So I'm going to air draw for a minute. You might want to do the same. I'm going to make my wavy line. I don't want my lines to be parallel or exactly the same, so I have to really think about how to make these lines look different. We don't want too much of a curve to them, but we do want a nice wave. All right, I think I have it in my head. I'm going to start on the side. Here's my first wavy line. All right, I'm going to think really hard and purposefully start the opposite direction. So this time I went to the left. This time I'm going to start and go to the right. Oh, I still ended up parallel at the bottom, which is fine, but you see the variation, it's not exactly the same. And now I'm going to go a little different again. So I have 3 different wavy lines on my paper. Go ahead and get your lines on your paper. Pause the video if you need to. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 1 vertical wavy line. So horizontal wavy line, 1 side to side. All right, so I'm going to start, I kind of find the middle. I like to go a little above or a little below. I'm going to go just a tiny bit above middle. And I'm going to add 1 wavy line this way, just intersecting those other lines. So I have 3 vertical lines, 1 horizontal line. All right, here's where the magic begins. All right, we're going to work above this line first, and then we're going to flip our paper and do the other side. So we're only working above this line first. Watch and listen for just a moment, and then I want you to try it with me. I'm going to start at any section is fine. We're going to treat these each as individual sections. I'm just going to choose this one to start. I'm going to draw a bridge or a curved line from one side to the other and connect these 2 corners. So I started here, I'm going to somewhere in the middle get my highest point and then go down. And then I'm going to start again kind of at the same point. This time I'm going to go up even higher. I'm starting to make these bands. All right, I'm going to start each time where this previous line meets the corner. I'm going to raise my pencil up just a little, but I'm still going to start right here in this corner. And I'm going to make it go up. One of the things that I see students do, which still works but doesn't quite make the same optical illusion, is instead of starting here where these 2 lines meet, they just make bands. I'm going to show you the wrong way to do it, so don't do this, okay? They just make bands going across like this, and they just start wherever they want to on the line. And that's not a horribly bad thing, and it still will make kind of a neat optical illusion. But I really want you guys to give it a try and go all the way down to here each time. Start from there. That's what's going to really cement the fact for the viewer that this is actually 3-dimensional. Part of it is that it creates a little bit of a darker line. It makes this look like it goes up a little higher because of how far down this line goes. All right, so when I have one section done, I'm going to move over to the next section, and I'm going to start the same bridge, and I'm going to go higher each time. All right, if you're kind of getting the hang of it, go ahead and, if you haven't already, start on your paper. I'm going to repeat a few things, and maybe as you're going, these things will answer some questions if they come up. Okay, so each time when we start our bridge, we're going to go to the last point where the curve and the line meet, and we're going to start there each time. We're going to try to end the same over here. If you notice, I don't always get my point all the way back down, but that's okay. That's part of what makes this line look 3-dimensional. Notice what I did here. I went up and off the paper. I picked up my pencil and I thought about where it would come back on this side. And I'm just filling in these little corners with the same optical illusion. We want the viewer to think that it goes off the paper. So that's what I'm going to do here. I've done mine that are in the middle. I can see both sides of the bridge. On this one, it's going to go off the page. So I'm going to start in the corner and make a bridge off the page. Make sure that if you don't have a mat under you, that you have something that's protecting your table, because we don't want to draw on our tables. So I'm starting at the corner every time, and I'm making my bridge go up each time. I'm letting it run off the side of the paper. It's making this deep shadow. The viewer's eye feels like there's a deep crease between these two. Almost makes it look like it's starting to move. Okay, I'm going to do my last side over here. Again, this is going to start in the corner and go off the page. I find going to the left way more challenging. My brain and my hand have to think a little harder. You might find that going to the left is easier. So interesting how our brains work. This whole project is messing with our brains, isn't it? All right, so we've got one side of our paper done. I want you to take a look. How are you feeling about it? If you're running into a lot of problems on this, feel free to email me. You could maybe send me a picture and I could help you with what is or isn't working, but you guys will have it. All right, so once this side is done, we're going to simply turn our paper over, put that to the bottom, put our blank spot to the top. We're going to do the same. We're going to make bridges on this side as well. So what we're doing is we're kind of using this like a line, a mirror line, and we're mirroring it on the other side. We're just doing the same kind of arch all the way over. It's kind of interesting when it gets more narrow, the arches tend to get longer, which is kind of cool. I was calling these bridges earlier. I guess arch is really a better term. All right, over here, I can't really see that side, but I still have more space over here. All right, so continue on. Let's fill our page. I'm going to finish mine. You go ahead and finish yours, and we'll chat again when we're done. All right, so here we are. We got it all done. We've made all of our arches, our bridges, and we have our optical illusion started. All right, remember, put this in your portfolio. Keep it somewhere safe. We're going to come back next week in part 2, and we're going to talk about how to add color to also create that optical illusion.